it looks like this. Finger approaches, thumb actually pushes off, turns it over. That looks really deceptive. Look at this. It looks like my left thumb is pushing it over, doesn't it? My left thumb is actually going along for the ride. Why? Because this right forefinger is pushing up, the left thumb is pushing down, there's an opposing tension, and here's what it looks like. If I get two cards, watch what happens. Finger below, thumb on top, goes along for the ride. See this? Looks like my forefinger's doing the work. I mean, the thumb's doing the work, but the forefinger and the thumb are both doing the work. Thumb on top now, finger below, takes it over, turns it up. By the way, obviously my thumb has to go out of the way every time I do that, or this would happen. So I just turn it over like that. Left thumb goes out of the way, and it's easy to turn over. Oh, by the way, I got to get that part in. Got to get that part in. And there it is. That right there is what I call the, what would you call it? The strike, push, grip, grip. And that's the third one. Now for the fourth one, you're going to get a kick out of this. This is my favorite one of all. This is the one I use on a regular basis, and it looks like that. Notice the crackling. Well, you know, I'll get into that part later. This emphasizes singularity. I'll get into that later. Notice the way I'm doing it. It looks very natural, very effortless. And just for the record, just so you can see, that really is two cards. And here's what it looks like. Or actually, here's how it's done. This over here, without a break. I should also mention that. No break, no break. Hold the cards face down, left hand dealing position. A little bit deeper in the palm this time. This left corner here is not here. It's down a little bit more like this. Not too far down where your pinky's hanging over the edge. Hello, hello. But way up here, like that. The thumb now pushes over two cards. It looks like one, but it's actually two. It looks like this. Broken down, this thumb hits the first part of the card, this tip hits the second part of the card. Let me show you. There's one, there's two. I've exaggerated at this point just so you can see. Putting them back, it would look like this. That's one card right there. Slowing it down, watch again. This thumb, this part of the thumb hits the first card, that hits the second. First, second. One, two. Done a little bit quicker, looks like that. See that? And by the way, just for the record, that's perfect. I wouldn't say perfect, but that's good enough. You can see a slight separation, but that's okay, because this middle finger comes over and simply does that. That's all I'm doing. See it separated? Middle finger hits this card underneath and aligns it with the top card like that. Why does it stay? Because of the fulcrum point right here. This is the pivoting area. It simply pushes it together, and now my thumb... Actually, I should give you an extra tip. Not only does this hit here, but the thumb also rides along the right edge and pinches it like this. It's hard to see from that angle. Let me give you this angle. Pinches it like this. As my thumb goes underneath, two fingers here go on top. Once again, these two over here aren't needed. And I simply turn it over and flicks it off my left thumb, the kind of the flesh base right here. And then I simply turn it over again. Once again, it looks like that. Notice the flick. It looks like that. And that right there, let me just give you one last little tip about this. When I push it off, these come together, these pinch together right here. Think of this as one card. Concentrate on this being one card. It's only a piece of paper. Think of Di Vernon said, think of this as paper, not as a manhole cover or a big slab of cement. It's just paper. Notice I just flip it over effortlessly, seamlessly, and that is the first four double lifts. Let's move on now to the replacement. The replacement is probably the most important part of the double lift. When I first did this myself, the replacement was the hardest part. It's the most awkward and the most suspicious part. It can also be the most telltale part. If you don't have this part right, it'll be a dead giveaway to a layman, to someone watching you do this. The replacement is simply turning the card from a face-up condition back down to a face-down condition. That's simply it. It looks like this. Watch. Cards are face down. They're turned over like this. That's the turnover. Now the replacement. I have to get it from here to there. It's that simple. Watch. I can do this double lift and flick it over. I can do this double lift. And the same thing. I'm doing this turnover. Every double lift utilizes this. Look. Every double lift